All right, we are going to be doing today our last Excel project, Grader Project 11G. Let's go ahead and sign into My IT Lab. Once again, if you click on My IT Lab, nothing opens up. Make sure you allow all pop-ups up here. And let's go ahead and go to our assignment calendar. We're going to click on the 31st where our assignment is located. And we're going to scroll down to Chapter 11 Grader Project. Once again, if you click on that, nothing happens. Make sure you enable all pop-ups. Let's go ahead and download our materials. Looks like we only need to download the one. If you're at home, you probably need to download both the instructions and the student. I do recommend that you download and print the instructions if you can. But we're just going to go ahead and download our student file. Once again, do not use the download all files. It saves it as a zip file, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to save and submit. So once you've downloaded your student file, go ahead and open it up. And enable editing. And we're going to go ahead and make this larger. All right, so we are done. Oh, wait, no, we are not done with question number 1. Let's see here. We are not going to save last name, first name. We are going to group the sheets together. So let's go ahead and come down here. Let's right click on aquatics, on our aquatic sheet. And let's go ahead and click select all sheets. And we are going to put in the left section of the footer. So let's go ahead and come up here to our page layout tab. From our page layout tab, let's go ahead and click on this little guy right here, which is our page setup dialog box. And we're going to go ahead and come over here to our header footer tab. And we are going to do a custom footer. In the left section, we are going to click on this icon right here that says the file, insert file name. That'll put the file name in. We'll go ahead and hit OK. And we'll go ahead and hit OK. And we are done with step number 1. All right, step number 2. It wants us to display the highlight changes dialog box. So let's go ahead and go to our review tab. All right, so before we start number 2, let's go ahead and right click on aquatics and hit ungroup sheets. Now, this highlight changes dialog box, this track changes, this is actually called a legacy feature now. They don't necessarily have it in the new versions of Word, which we'll be updating next semester. So to get back our legacy track changes, we're going to come here to the File tab. From the File tab, we're going to come all the way down here to Options. From Options, our Excel options here, we are going to come down to, let's see here, Customize Ribbon. From Customize Ribbon, we are going to click here where it says Popular Commands. We are going to click on this down arrow where Popular Commands. And let's go ahead and click on All Commands. Yeah, we're going to click on All Commands. And let's go ahead and scroll all the way down. Let's get to the T's, and let's see if we can find our track changes. Gotta find track changes. Here it is. Our track changes. It says Legacy. Let's go ahead and click on Track Changes Legacy. If we click on Add Command and you get this needs to be add to a custom group, go ahead and hit OK. Make sure your Review tab right here is selected. Come down here, click on New Group. Go ahead and click on Rename. And under Display Name, let's go ahead and type in Track Changes. Go ahead and hit OK. Now we should be able to click on this Track Changes. Make sure this Track Changes is highlighted and hit the Add button, and it should now move it over there for us. Go ahead and hit OK. And now when we go to the Review tab, we should have our Track Changes here, our legacy options, and we can start with question number 2. Okay, now that we have our Track Changes, it says display the highlight changes dialog box. So let's go ahead and come here now to our Review tab, now to our Track Changes Legacy. Let's go ahead and click on that and click on Highlight Changes. And when we click on Highlight Changes, we want to go ahead and track changes while editing. So put a check mark next to there. Be sure to indicate when is all. Go ahead and put a check mark next to who, and it says everyone. And we're going to ignore where. So don't put anything there next to where. And go ahead and hit OK. And it says this action will now save the workbook. Do you want to continue? Hit OK. Alright, so once you've went ahead and you've tracked your changes, I'm going to click on this. It says not now. I don't want to collaborate. It says it wants us to close the file and open it again. So let's go ahead and click on our File tab here. And let's go ahead and hit Close. Now the reason why we're closing this is because we want to open it up and act like a different user. In this particular case, it's going to be Grace Johnson. So let's go ahead and go back to our file folder here. Let's go ahead and go to our Downloads folder. Let's go to our Downloads folder. And let's go ahead and open up this Chapter 11 Grader project. Let's go ahead and open it back up again. And here it is. Before we make any changes though, we are going to change the user. So let's go ahead and come over here to our File tab. Under our File tab, go all the way down here to the Options box. So go to the File tab, go all the way down to the Options box. And right here where it says personalize your copy of Microsoft Office, let's change this to Grace Johnson. Right here under personalize your copy of Microsoft Office under username, change it to Grace Johnson and hit OK. So now any changes that we make to this document are going to be made under the name Grace Johnson. All right, now moving to step 3. It says on the aquatics sheet. Let's go ahead and go to our aquatics sheet. And we want to make the following changes. So for Anderson, we want to change the proposed salary to $53,000. So let's go ahead and click on proposed salary and let's type in 5312 zeros. Then we want to find Deprez. Here's Deprez. Anticipated grade. Let's go ahead and change the anticipated grade from 16 to 17. Also for Deprez, let's go ahead and change his proposed salary to $56,000, 56 and 3 zeros. And we want to find Wagner, and we're going to change their proposed salary to 58500 and hit enter. So we've made these different changes under the name of Grace Johnson. Does anybody need help with that? All right, moving on to step number 4. It wants us to save the file and close it. So let's come up here to the File tab. Let's click on File, Save. And let's go ahead and click on File, Close. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of this extra Excel file. Now let's go back to our Downloads folder. Let's go ahead and find our file, which is still right here for me. Our Chapter 16 or our Chapter 11 Grader project. Go ahead and open it back up. And we're going to change the username again. So let's go ahead and come over here to the File tab. Let's go all the way down to Options. And where it says Grace Johnson, we are now going to change it from Grace Johnson to Ken Saito. So capital K-E-N, Saito, S-A-I-T-O. And go ahead and hit OK. Now under the name of Ken Saito, we want to make the following changes on the sports worksheet. So let's go ahead and click on our sports worksheet. And we want to change Matthews. So let's find Matthews. And we're going to change his proposed salary to $63,000. We're going to find Patel. And we're going to change Patel's salary, proposed salary, to $56,000. We're going to find Reed, different spelling than my name. We're going to change the proposed, or the anticipated grade to 17. And, well, not that I'm biased or anything, but he should deserve more money. But we're going to go ahead and give him $49,000, so $49,000 for proposed salary under James Reed. And then we're going to find Zelink, and we're going to change his proposed salary because he's obviously overpaid. We're going to change his salary to $54,000 and hit enter. And let's go ahead and hit the File tab. We're going to save it, and we're going to hit the File tab again and close. And then I'm going to go ahead and close out of this Excel file as well if it pops up. All right, moving on to step number 5. We've already saved the file and closed it. Now we want to reopen it again, so let's go ahead and double click on our student file again. Open it back up. And we're going to change the name one last time, so let's come back here to the File tab. And let's go down to our Options. And let's go ahead and change the username this time is going to be Dean Angelo, the Dean of Athletics. And once you've typed in Dean Angelo, Dean of Athletics, go ahead and hit OK. So what we are simulating here in a very rudimentary way is we have two different employees, Grace Johnson and Ken Saito. They have both made changes to a document. However, those changes are contingent upon Dean Angelo actually accepting or rejecting those changes. So that's what Dean Angelo is going to do. They're going to accept or reject these changes. So now let's go ahead and go back to our Review tab. I'm going to click Not Now with that little collaboration box. So I'm going to go back to my Review tab, and I'm going to go back to my Track Changes. And it says Display the Highlight Changes dialog box. So let's go ahead and click on the Highlight Changes dialog box here. Let's say it says change the when to all. So when, we're going to go ahead and click on all. And it says be sure who is selected is everyone. So go ahead and put a check mark next to who. Make sure it says everyone. Then go ahead and hit OK. Now come back up to our Track Changes. And let's click on Accept and Reject Changes. And under here, so when, not yet reviewed, who, everyone, Go ahead and hit OK. And now it's going to walk us through whether we're going to accept or reject changes. So in this case, we had Grace Johnson today made this change, wanted to change this to 53,000. We want to accept that, so let's go ahead and hit the accept button. This one right here, not accept all. So we're going to accept this one. We have Grace Johnson again. And if we move this box out of the way, we can actually see what we're accepting here. So this one is the Prez, the 17. We want to accept that. Now we're accepting the Prez's change to 56,000, and we want to accept that. Then we get down to Wagner. Here's Wagner, 58,000. We want to accept that, so let's go ahead and hit accept. Now we're at Matthews, but hold on for a quick second. After reviewing the changes, we want to reject Matthews. We do not want to accept Matthews. So let's go ahead and hit reject on this one. And then here is Patel. We're going to go ahead and we're going to accept Patel. We're going to go ahead and accept Reed. We're going to accept Reed again. And we are going to accept Zelink. But we want to go back and we want to change Matthews' anticipated grade to 20. So let's go ahead and find Matthews and change it to 20. So what we just simulated, after you type in 20, hit enter. So what we just simulated is the boss, Dean Angelo, going through, accepting all the changes except for Matthews, who obviously she did not want to give a pay raise to. Now it wants us to turn off sharing. So let's go ahead and come up here to our Protect Workbook here where it says Unshare Workbook under the Review tab. Protect, Unshare Workbook. Let's go ahead and click on that. And now our workbook is not being shared and we are done with step number 6. All right, so now step number 7, it wants us to run the document inspector and remove all document properties. If any comments displayed, remove the comments as well. So let's go ahead and come here to our File tab. Let's click on our File tab. And under our File tab, notice how we have this right here that says Inspect Workbook. That says Check for Issues. So under our File tab, under the Info right here, it says Check for Issues. Let's go ahead and click on that. And we are going to inspect document. All right, so we want to remove all document properties, if any. So we're good. Let's go ahead and just hit inspect. Everything's check marked. Let's hit inspect. And right here it says there are document properties and personal information. Well, we want to remove all. So let's go ahead and click on remove all. And scrolling down through here, I don't see anything about comments. Looks like no comments were found. So we're done. We can go ahead and hit close. And we're done with step number 7. All right, we want to do the same thing to Accessibility Checker. So let's go ahead and check for issues for step number 8. And we're going to check accessibility. And once we run check accessibility, it's going to give us an error where it says merge cells right over here. And it says it is A1 to F1. If we hit this down arrow right here, so if you click this down arrow, and then you click on this down arrow here, you can go ahead and click on unmerge and fix that issue, that accessibility issue. And notice now it will unmerge this particular cell right here. And we're done with the accessibility checker, so let's go ahead and hit the X right here, close out of that sidebar. It wants us to group the worksheets. So let's go ahead and right click on aquatics. And let's go ahead and hit select all sheets. It wants us to center horizontally. So to do that, we're going to click on our page layout tab here. Under our page layout tab, we're going to click on this little guy right here for our page setup. We're going to click on our margins tab right here. And we're going to center on page horizontally. And go ahead and hit OK. Now we want to display our document properties. So let's go to our File tab here. And let's go ahead and come over here and click on Show All Properties. In the, let's see, it says in the author box, let's go ahead and type your first name. So let's go ahead and just type in your first name, whatever your first name is. And last name. And in the subject box, so let's go ahead and find the subject box. Let's come up here to subject box and type in CGS. And in the tags box where it says add a tag, let's type in salaries. And then let's go ahead and hit save on our workbook. Let's go ahead and hit save. And we are done with step number 8. All right, moving on to step number 9. It says ungroup the worksheets. So let's go ahead and come down to our aquatics worksheet. Let's right click on it and hit ungroup sheets. Then it wants us to mark the workbook as final. Go to the File tab. From the File tab where it says Protect Workbook, let's go ahead and click the down arrow next to it right here. And it says Mark as Final. Let's go ahead and click Mark as Final. And it says this workbook will be marked as final and will be saved. Go ahead and hit OK. It has been marked as final, so go ahead and hit OK again. We are finished. It says change the username back to the original. So we can go ahead and come back to our File tab here. We can come back down to Options. And whatever that username was, for me it was Jason Reed. But whatever it is for you, put it back in. Go ahead and hit OK. Go ahead and hit File. It's already been saved, so we can't save it again. So let's go ahead and close out of the document, and we're going to upload it. So let's go back to our back to this page right here. Go ahead and hit the X. We're going to choose our file. Once again, it is our Chapter 11 Grader project. I'm going to click on it, hit Open. I'm going to upload it. And then I'm going to click Submit for grading. I want to close the assignment. And then I'm going to come back to here. I'm going to scroll all the way down to our Chapter 11 Grader project. I'm going to click on the 3 dots. I'm going to click on View Submissions. It looks like we got 100%. If you see that you've missed some assignment or some grade, you can come and click on the submission. And you can look here, scrolling down, and you can see what you did wrong, fix it, and then resubmit it. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me via email through Canvas. Have a wonderful day.